All right, this will be a video for 7th grade Mountain Math, week 1. Starting here on number 1, we have 3 terms that we need to add together. So we're going to do 246 plus 381 plus 459. So go ahead and add those up. 246, 381, and 459. Go ahead and add these up. Show your work. Find the sum. Number 2, we need to find the product. We need to do 302. This dot here means multiplication. Kind of looks like a decimal, but it's a dot. It's up in the middle height here of these numbers. So we need to make sure that we are doing multiplication here. So we're going to do 302 times 530. So we're going to have 302 times 530. Now, one thing we can do is we can recognize this first zero. We could take the zero off. We can just do 302 times 53. And then at the end, we can put that zero back on the end. But either way, make sure you have the correct amount of rows here. For this one, the first row is going to be 2 and 0 and 3 times this 3. Then you're going to add that 0 here because we're now in the tens place. We're going to do 2 times 5, 0 times 5, 3 times 5. And you're going to have 2 rows here to add together. Make sure you don't forget to put that 0 there on the end, though. If you do it in this way, you're going to actually have 3 rows to add together. Your first row is just going to be 0, 0, 0. So that's why I'm saying we could kind of just skip that 0 and come down here. But make sure, if you do take this 0 off this 530, that you put it back onto the final product. Number 3, 2 plus 4 here, but what we need to do on this one is we need to use a number line to solve. So the first number is going to tell you where to start. So on your number line, go ahead and put a 2. And if you're going to go plus 4, I want you to show me, are we going to the left 4? Are you going to the right by 4? Tell me where you end. What is 2 plus 4? Number 4, we have 3/4. As a fraction, we need to write this as a decimal and as a percent. This here is a division problem. We are dividing the top. We're dividing the numerator by the denominator. So we're going to do 3 divided by 4 to turn this into a decimal. Now I will warn you, you're going to need 2 more zeros here, and make sure your decimal point goes right here because this 4 does not go into this 3. So 4 times 0 is 0. Subtract. We get our 3 down here. We got to bring a 0 down. Now, 4's in 30. We can say that fits 7 times. You have 1 more 0 after all that to show your work for that division. Now, to change it to a percent, what you do is you take that answer that you get for division as a decimal, and you multiply it by 100 because that means per cent. Cent means 100. Per means of or out of. Number 5, this is an order of operations problem, so you need to do parentheses first. That'll be the 4 plus 6. We don't have any exponents. Then you need to do multiply and divide, depending on which one comes left to right, which one comes first, and then you need to add and subtract, again, left to right. So this is our PEMDAS that we've talked about this year, or we will talk about. So you're going to do 4 plus 6. You're going to multiply that by this 3 because that 3 is on the outside of this parentheses. And then you take that product and subtract 16. For number 6, Elsa earned this much, and this much last week. What is the total she earned? Well, if she earned this much, to find the total, you need to add. Don't forget to line up your decimal on this problem. Number 7, show 2 other ways to write this fraction. We are not allowed to change the fraction, so it needs to be 3/4, 3/4, and 3/4. Now notice the beginning, this first one they gave us, is this whole fraction is marked off with a negative. Now there are other ways we could write this as a negative. We can move this negative sign up to the 3 and just write -3 over 4. That's the same thing. And we can do the same thing on the bottom. So for your third one, just put it on that 4 instead. Number 8, we have a one-step algebra problem. We have 3 times an unknown number here, is equal to 186. We want to find out what this unknown number is. What number do we multiply by 3 to make 186? Well, let's think of an easier problem. 3 times something equals 6. Well, that we actually know 3 times 2 is 6. What you do is you would do, well, what 6 divided by what number makes 3? So we're going to do divide both sides here by 3. Divide by 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So x here is 2. On this problem for number 8, since it is 3 times an unknown number, we are going to divide by 3, which we'll get rid of those because that's how many x's we want. 3 divided by 3 is not 0, it's 1. We have 1x right here. That is our final goal. 1x equals, well, whatever 186 divided by 3 is. So you're going to have to do that too, unless you can look at this and kind of do this in your head, because I see that this part works really well with 3, and I see this part works really well with 3 as well. So you could do 180 divided by 3, and you can do 6 divided by 3, and add those two numbers together to get the missing number. Number 9, they tell us our perimeter is 30 feet. Well, perimeter is, if we start right here and we go to the bottom corner on the right, and then we go to the left corner, and then we go back up. That's where we add all the sides. So we know that this side, x, plus this side, 10, plus this side, 12, is equal to the perimeter of 30. So you can figure out the missing number in this equation. What is that unknown number? For number 10, we have a proportion we need to solve. It's a unit rate. It's a proportional equation here. So let's set this up. We know that we can go 16 miles in 4 hours. So we want to find out how many miles can we go in 1 hour. Well, these are equivalent fractions. This is a proportion. There's many ways we're going to learn how to solve these. But what do we do from here to here? It's a division problem. What do we divide by? Divide by something. We need to do the same thing to the numerator. Whatever we divide the bottom by, we have to do to the top. So once you figure out 4 divided by what number is 1, do that same thing to the top, and that'll be your answer.